Good morning. So today I will discuss about the derangement of homeostasis and hemodynamics. So before going to hemodynamics, I would like to discuss about the what is homeostasis, how there is balance of water and electrolytes in the body. You know that it is believed that the life on earth probably arose in the sea, and the body water, which is the environment of the cells consisting of salt water, is similar to the ancient ocean. The sea within us flows through blood and lymph vessels, bathes the cells, as well as lies within the cells. So water within us, which that is in our body, that contains several salts like potassium, sodium, chloride, calcium, magnesium, phosphate. All these salts are in our body. So to simplify this, the Claude Bernard, he coined the term that is called internal environment or milieu interior for that condition of the body in which the interstitial fluid, which bathes the cells, and the plasma, both this interstitial fluid and plasma together maintain the normal morphology and function of the cells and tissues of the body. That means the internal environment is the condition of the body in which both interstitial fluid and plasma, that both together maintain the normal morphology and function of the cells and tissues of the body. So the mechanism by which the constancy of the internal environment is maintained and ensured is called homeostasis. That means there are some inherent mechanism of the body by which the constancy of the internal environment is maintained and ensured. That mechanism is called homeostasis. So for this purpose, the living membranes with varying permeability like vascular endothelium, the cell wall, these are the living membranes. They play important role in exchange of fluids, electrolytes, nutrients and metabolites across the compartment of body fluids. So what is the composition of this internal environment? What are the major constituents? You know that the major constituents of internal environments are two. That is water, which is the principal and essential constituent of the body, and second component is the electrolytes. So today I will discuss about how the water is distributed in various compartments of the body, how electrolytes are distributed in various compartments of the body. So I already told you that water is the principal and essential component of the body. So the total body water in a normal adult is approximately, average is 60% of the body weight, and in females it is 10% less, that is 50%. So if a person having normal, if a male having normal weight of 65 kg, then the 60% of the 65 kg is 40 liters of water. So a man weighing 65 kg contains approximately 40 liters of water. So the total body water, suppose assuming average is 60%, is distributed into two main compartments of the body fluids, which is separated from each other by membranes freely permeable to water. That means the water is distributed in such a way in various compartments, though these compartments are separated by each other by the membranes, but that membrane is freely permeable to water. So I can explain this in this figure. You can see here that this is the 60% of the water portion, whole portion is the water, and 40% is the mineral, fat and protein. So this water compartment is mainly divided into two parts, that is intracellular fluid, that is within this cell, and that composes of the 33% of the body weight. And the maximum bulk, because muscle cells are huge in number in our body, so maximum bulk, the intracellular fluid is found in the muscles. Now coming to extracellular fluid compartment. It is again divided into four parts, though in the figure it is in three parts, but the others again divided into two parts. So first part is, out of these four, the first part is interstitial fluid, that means outside the cell, in between the cells. So that constitutes the major portion of the water in extracellular fluid compartment. So that is, out of 27%, 12% is the interstitial fluid that is present outside the cell, in between the cells. Then second important component is the intravascular fluid or blood plasma. Intravascular fluid or blood plasma, that comprises about 5% of the body weight. Thus, the plasma content is 3 liters if blood is 5 liters, so total blood volume is 5 liters, so plasma content is 3 liters. So this constitutes the 5% of the body weight. Then in others compartment, which is 10%, that is divided into mesenchymal tissues like dense connective tissues, cartilage, bones, that contain body water, which is comprising of 9% of the body weight. And last 1% of the body weight is, that is transcellular fluid, that constitutes 1% of body weight. This is the fluid content in the secretion of secretory cells of the body, that is skin, salivary glands, mucous membranes, alimentary respiratory tract, pancreas, liver, biliary tract, kidneys, thyroid glands, lacrimal gland and CSF, all constitutes only 1% of the body weight. So this is the distribution of water. Now coming to electrolytes. You can see in this figure the concentration of these cations, these are the positively charged electrolytes, and anions, that is negatively charged electrolytes, their concentration is different in intracellular and extracellular fluids. So in the intracellular fluid, this is the intracellular. In this fluid, the main cations, the positively charged electrolytes, are potassium and magnesium, and the main anions are phosphates and proteins. But it is the low concentration of sodium and chloride. Inside the cell, there is low concentration of sodium and chloride, but high concentration of potassium and magnesium, phosphates and proteins. In the extracellular fluid means, you can see here, this is the interstitial fluid and this is the intravascular fluid. This is the extracellular fluid compartment and this is the intracellular fluid compartment. So in the extracellular fluid, the predominant cation is, here you can see sodium, and the principal anion are chloride and bicarbonate. Besides these, a small proportion of non-diffusible proteins and some diffusible nutrients and metabolites such as glucose and urea are also present in the extracellular fluid compartment. But the essential difference between these two main subdivision of ECF, subdivision of ECF extracellular fluid means the intravascular fluid and the interstitial fluid. The protein content is higher in blood plasma, intravascular fluid, which plays an important role in maintaining the fluid balance. So this is the distribution of electrolytes in various compartments. Now, what are the major function of electrolytes? The major function of electrolytes, because these are the main solutes in the body fluids, so they maintains the acid-base equilibrium. Then electrolytes maintains the proper osmolality and volume of body fluids. Osmolality, you know, this is the solute concentration per kg water, and there is another term, that is osmolarity, that is defined as the solute concentration per liter solution. And the third function is the concentration of certain electrolytes that determine specific physiologic functions, that is example is effect of calcium ion on neuromuscular excitability. And this concentration of the electrolytes are expressed in milliequivalent per liter to compare the values with each other. Now coming to how there is balance of water in the normal water and electrolyte balance. So first thing is the water balance, that is water, how much water is absorbed into the body and how it is eliminated from the body. So water is absorbed from into the body, what we drink, that is absorbed from the bowel, or sometimes it is introduced parenterally when person suffering from diseases. Then how it is eliminated from the body? So approximately water which is water intake into the body is approximately 2800 ml per day. And how it is eliminated from the body? So water eliminated from the body first is through urine, major portion, which is filtered through kidney and transformed into urine, that is the major portion is eliminated, that is 1500 ml per day. Then in second elimination is via perspiration, by sweating through the skin. So approximately 800 ml per day is eliminated from the body. Then via lungs through exhaled air, that is 400 ml per day. And lastly through, there is a minor losses via feces, lacrimal secretion, nasal secretion, oral secretion, sexual secretion, mammary secretions. So that is approximately 100 ml per day. So 2800 ml intake and 2800 ml is eliminated from the body. This is how the normal water balance is carrying out in our body. And for the electrolytes, you can now, it is very important to know that the cell wall and the capillary endothelium, they are entirely permeable to water, but their permeability differs in permitting electrolytes. Like capillary wall is completely permeable to electrolytes, while cell membrane is impermeable. That means capillary wall, they electrolyte can come in and go out from the vessel and outside the vessel. But the cell membrane, they don't allow the electrolytes to come in, but they are impermeable. Then the capillary wall does not allow free passage of plasma protein. You can know that intravascular compartment, I have already told you, this capillary wall, they does not allow free passage of plasma protein. That's why the protein is highest in the intravascular compartment, which is part of the extracellular fluid compartment. So in the next class, I will discuss about the pressure gradient and fluid exchange, how the fluid is exchanged by the pressure gradients. Thank you.